Welcome, gentlemen. Today, we're taking a look at the first AR I ever owned. Let's get right into it. Going to start off with a quick overview of this rifle. What is it and how do I have it set up? This is a Diamondback Arms DB15. It is a 16-inch 5.56 223 AR15. On the end here, I have the Otter Creek Labs Polonium 30 with the Silencer Co. Extreme High Temp Corset suppressor wrap on there. I've mentioned before, I have the other Silencer Co. suppressor wrap. Not a huge fan of that one. This one takes care of all those problems that I had with the other one. Basically, there's metal parts on the other one and they get really hot and you think you're okay to grab it because it's got a suppressor wrap on it, but the little metal buckles on there burn your hand anyway. It also has a weird sleeve on there that just is kind of a pain in the ass to take on and off. Anyway, this suppressor wrap I like way more. Moving on, we have the Magpul M-Lock bipod. It is a good bipod for the money, lightweight, not the most rigid, but a lot of people hate on it. I think it tends to work just fine for what I use this for. Then, I know, very controversial, I have a vertical foregrip on this rifle. It is the M-Lock Magpul vertical foregrip. I love these, even if it supposedly makes me a worse shooter, and I don't even need one on this type of setup. I just think it looks cool. It is what it is. I'm doing it for the vibes. As far as the optic goes on here, this is a Vortex Diamondback fitting, given this is a Diamondback rifle. It is a 4:16 by 42 optic. It is a cheaper optic, but this is a cheaper rifle, so no duality of man moment there. Then we have the Magpul UBR Gen 2 stock. This is one that I don't feel like you see very often. The first time I saw this stock was on Mira's Vector in Rainbow Six Siege. So really love this stock. It just is so cool. Has a fixed stock look, but does extend. There is like a little compartment here that I just took out because I think it looks cooler, but you could have a compartment to hold batteries or Skittles or whatever. I have the Magpul MOE Plus grip on here. This is the rubber overmolded one. And then I am running the Radian Raptor SD charging handle. I bought this charging handle way before I had a suppressor, before I knew how to get suppressors. I didn't even know that the SD was for suppression. I just really like the Radian Raptor charging handle, and that was the one that was at the store. And I've got the Troy Ambi mag release on there, as I am disabled, aka left-handed. As far as the trigger goes, I have a Geisley SSAE in there, so I definitely replaced a ton of parts on this rifle, but I like it a lot. This was more or less the setup that I've had on this rifle since I got it, or intended to have. The suppressor is obviously newer. I was gifted this rifle as a graduation present from high school by my dad and stepmom in 2017. Yep, I'm getting old. Unk status achieved. And basically just immediately started replacing parts on it, customizing it really was the first time that I had the opportunity to do that with a gun. Up until then, really the only guns that I had had were like a 10-22 and bolt action hunting rifle and such. So this was my first AR that I could really experience the AR guy aspect of guns. And like I said, I just started doing stuff to it. The original idea behind this gun was to set it up as a coyote gun. So I mean, it's a little bit more tactical, I guess you could say, with the vertical grip, but as far as coyote gun goes, I think this thing is great. Back in 2017, I had never heard of Diamondback firearms, and I think most people hadn't. This was, around that time when ARs started exploding and everybody was making ARs. This AR has been very solid for me. Like I've said, I've had it for almost 10 years now, so I've never really ran this like high volume of fire trying to get it to malfunction or anything like this. It's been like I take it out to go shoot coyotes or prairie dogs even, and then I take it home and clean it, because before I owned all the guns that I do, I used to go out, shoot, come back and clean my gun as soon as I got home. So this gun has had very good care taken of it. So I haven't really ever experienced a malfunction in it, but that's not to say it's the most reliable gun on the planet. Kind of whatever you think of, regardless of your thoughts on Diamondback now. Back when I got this, they were a smaller company making budget ARs around 500 bones, and they were perfectly fine. Not super high end, but not a horrible rifle either. So, being that I was 18 when I got this rifle, and knowing what I know now versus what I know then, how does this rifle hold up in terms of, would I build a rifle this way? Would I choose a rifle like this? First off, I think this was a great first AR. Didn't break the bank. Wasn't worried about breaking it, or like it wasn't so expensive that I didn't want to shoot it kind of thing. But I was also, a high schooler just out of high school, and kids are hard on stuff. So it stood up to all of that. Has gotten banged around, but not too terribly much. I think for a new shooter's rifle, this was a great option. Works every time you pull the trigger, didn't break the bank, has the potential to upgrade. What more could you ask for? As far as the build now, the only thing that I might change about it would be the optic, and really, it's not because the optic's bad by any means, especially for a rifle in this price range. The $200 or whatever that this scope was is not horrible at all. Just now at this point, I'd like a little bit nicer glass. I am kind of known on my channel for the duality of man moments, where I put a really cheap optic on a really nice rifle. Most of the time, that is a red dot. Love my Romeo 5s. And they are perfectly fine. But as far as this goes, really, I mean, if I was buying a new AR, I don't know if I would go with a 16-inch, but I also, at this point, have like 6 ARs, so I don't need to be buying new ARs anyway. The only time I'm buying new ARs now is for like a different caliber, or it's like a retro build or something like that, like a specific clone I want or something like that, not just a standard AR. It's not the most accurate rifle, not even the most accurate AR15 that I own, but it's not the least, and it's perfectly serviceable. It's good enough for what I use it for. Would I like a little more accuracy? Maybe, but I'm also shooting like the majority of ammo that has been shot through this rifle was Tula steel case that was still available in the 2016, 2017, just shooting shitty ammo through it. I was never incredibly concerned with the accuracy, but like shooting at coyotes and prairie dogs and stuff, was still able to kill coyotes and prairie dogs. So really, if you can hit a prairie dog with it, it's good enough for me, at least for this type of rifle. All in all, you know, there's nothing really particularly special about this gun. It's a budget AR that I set up when I was a kid, and it serviced me just fine. Would I ever get rid of it? No, because it's got the sentimental value, and that's a lot of my guns have sentimental value. And this gun, my dad, and I have it now as well, but my dad has this exact same AR set up more or less the same, and it's just, you know, taking this gun out reminds me of being young, but also it reminds me of going out shooting with my dad, entering the gun space for real with an AR15, being able to customize it the way I want, learning how to work on a gun for the first time. Not my first gun by any means, but really helped catapult me into this sphere to where I am now with the knowledge I have talking to you guys. So for that reason, I absolutely love this rifle. Guns don't always have to be the most expensive, the most accurate, the newest, hottest, cool stuff. Sometimes they can just be an AR that your parents got you as a grad gift, and sometimes that's all they have to be. So thank you guys for watching. I recently became monetized, and I'm still kind of figuring that out. So if, like, for some reason I have a 10-minute video with 4 ads on it, don't be mad at me. I'm not that greedy. I just am like learning how to place the ads, what videos get monetized, and all of that stuff. So I really appreciate you guys watching, and thanks for watching my YouTube channel. I'll see you in the next one. Mwah.